bow your head, please. Dear merciful Father, we thank you for allowing us to congregate once again to do the county's business. Father, we thank you for this beautiful, beautiful day. We thank you for all the participants in this meeting today and hope that this meeting be fruitful for all. We want to give thanks for all your many, many blessings. And Father, we want to ask a special blessings for the people in Akron, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, for the families of the ones that have lost loved ones in the senseless killings. Father, we ask that we have peace in this land, love and happiness for all. And let us be guided by the principles of the Bible at all times. And Father, when this meeting is over, we ask that you take us home safely and allow us to come again and again and work towards the betterment of Monroe County, the state of Georgia, and the United States of America. These and other blessings we pray in our Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Let's pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We're going to have a roll call first. Janet.
Mr. Chairman Taylor.
I'm here.
Commissioner Ambrose.
Here.
Commissioner Imani.
Here.
Commissioner Evans. Commissioner Rowland.
Here. All right, seeing as we have a quorum, I'll call this meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners to order. First item on the agenda is a recognition service, and Chief Perry is going to lead that. So, Chief Perry, if you'll come forward.
I wanted to thank you all for time tonight for us to publicly show off our successes. In 2017, I watched two firefighters ride off into pitch black, wind-whipped waters in an underinflated Zodiac raft with merely a flashlight and a life vest to rescue two teen duck hunters and their dog from frigid waters. For their actions, then Governor Nathan Deal put medals around their necks, and their names are forever etched in granite showcasing their heroism. In 2018, I again stood helpless as a firefighter dangled from a helicopter to rescue a trapped teen from beneath the falls, all while the body of his drowned brother bobbed in the rapids with no one to get him. Streamed live on television and social media, this rescue garnered Monroe County national attention. We would soon do that again, this time as Macon-Bibb firefighters waded into torrential floodwaters to pull two tired kids from a swollen river. While standing there watching the events unfold, I told then Acting Sheriff Shackelford that we won't be waiting for this kind of help again. Since taking over at the end of 2017, my goal has been the development and educational advancement of our staff. Since 2018, we have completed thousands of hours of continuing education, taught 2 EMT classes in-house, and developed a career path so firefighters can reach their professional goals. We've streamlined our field training officer positions for more effective and higher quality new employee training and to develop qualified instructors for all facets of our jobs. We've appointed a training coordinator who now oversees all aspects of departmental training. By focusing on once neglected areas of supervision and management education, we are now setting the stage and laying a solid foundation for future growth and development of our fire department. Through grants and generous donations, we have substantially increased our EMS capabilities by adding equipment that is genuinely saving people's lives. We've added digital intubation cameras, ventilators, programmable IV pumps, and automatic CPR devices at little to no cost to the taxpayer. Unlike most ambulance services, our medical director actively engages staff with education, critiques, and quality control measures not seen with MCES in a very long time. We have significantly expanded our drug capabilities and now are able to provide an even higher level of pre-hospital emergency medical care to our patients. We've outsourced our billing, which has dramatically increased our revenues and given us far better data to track efficiency and call volumes. Our firefighters, both career and volunteer, are now recognized at the regional and state level for their level of professionalism, quality of work, and positive effect they're having on our profession. As we get closer and closer to the move-in day to our new headquarters, we will have more room and resources to continue to build our future. A future where MCES will be a state leader in firefighter and paramedic development and potential. Over the last 10 months, firefighters from Monroe County and Forsyth have been working together to develop a nationally certified and accredited dive rescue and recovery team. Under the expert tutelage of Monroe County resident Chris Richardson, our new rescue divers have been able to draw from his decades of military and civilian dive rescue experience. Chris's company, Deep Six Outfitters, which is located here in Forsyth, is becoming an international brand. Chris has seen to it, through the donation of his time and thousands of dollars worth of equipment, that our divers meet the highest standards of readiness and safety. Robert Billings, who is a Macon bib firefighter and master diver, has also spent hours with our team teaching and leading their education. Diver Supply was kind enough to rent gear for a fraction of what the normal fees were. The North Macon Swim Club essentially gave us a key to their pool so divers could train at night. I can assure you we're very thankful for their willingness to work with us and make this mission a success. These firefighters and their families have sacrificed hundreds of hours of their time for this cause, and tonight we can finally recognize their accomplishments. To showcase their success and dedication, each firefighter will wear a special pin on their uniforms that signifies their place on the team. It is customary that a loved one or department leader place the pin upon their chest. As I call their names, they'll step forward with the one chosen to pin them and be recognized. They are Captain David Fulmore, Captain Trey Piper, Robert Shepard, Stephen Mays, Josh Wagner, Ethan Carswell, Carson Rowland, Joseph Lamanna, Jonathan Godfrey, and Michael Cobb. Go ahead and pin them.
Customary kiss and look at that.
Yes, sir. That's done every morning.
Poor firefighter, that kid's mad.
I know. We told them they had to refrain from the airborne tradition, which is to put the pin on their chest and then their blood get to, punch it in their chest. So the human resources would not allow that. When you get done pinning, we're going to ask that the firefighters stand up front. The board would like a picture with you all, and then we'll head down to the bottom for another picture. To the Board of Commissioners and the Monroe County public, please help me welcome our newest achievement, the Monroe County Emergency Services Dive Rescue and Recovery Center.
Chief Perry, appreciate you very much for doing that. If you gentlemen will stay up here. I guess family, Richard, what do you want to do on the picture? You want the family members in as well?
Yeah, I want to get as far back as
Okay.
yeah, if they can get it, how many people can get in there? In fact, the more people that are up there, the more back of the heads I'll get.
Everybody cycling up this way, move into the center.
You're good, I think.
Are you getting math and all the Chief Perry? Anybody else? Okay. All right, thank you guys, appreciate it. Chief Perry, we appreciate your leadership.
Thank you.
Mr. Richardson, thank you for your education and sharing that with you guys and all of our firefighters. We're proud of y'all, and thank you for all that you do for us. We'll give everybody a second, please, to ease out there. All right. Next item on the agenda, part of our regular meeting, we didn't have anything under old business, under new business. We've got, first item is to approve the agenda. Was there anything on here that we needed to, we're going to change that, conference center?
No,
The comments, H, the speaker's appearance, public comments
Yeah, H.
resolution.
That's already on here.
We're taking that off, that'll be on here, we'll take it off and discuss it at the next meeting. Well, we're just gonna take it off again, this makes it easier. Then on the planning and zoning for Fincher, which is O, that has been postponed.
Oh, okay.
Okay. H and O would be removed. Any other items that need to be removed, anything that needs to be added? Here or none, I'll entertain it.
I don't care if it didn't show up. I wanted to discuss about the 3-acre rule and agriculture. But we can wait, I get it put on the
Or in the work session.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So that being said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So,
Got a motion to approve the agenda. Got a second. Commissioner Wiley, any discussion? Here and none, I'll call the question. All in favor? All right, the agenda's been approved. Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from July 18th. It's pleasure of the Lord. Got a motion to approve with the qualification of 30 days. All right, got a motion to approve. Got a second? I'll second for discussion.
Finish reading, so I got to abstain, just because
Got a motion, I'm seconding on the minutes approval. Any discussion on that? No? Any discussion? We've got 30 days to.
Yeah, that's fine. We're going, I'll second.
Got to, well, I
Oh, you
second,
second.
yeah, I second. So we got a motion to second, it's on the board, just give it on the, go through it. Here, no discussion. I'll go ahead and call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, it passes 4-0. Dan, if you have that. All right, next item on the agenda is the 2020 millage rate. It's Maury Robinson, our finance director, who's doing an amazing job for us. It's coming to present.
Jeff, would you turn off one of the lights, please? You go, Lori.
Lord, please give us your presentation.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Do you have a microphone? Is that what the,
Let me just grab this.
and is the microphone, is the battery in that?
No.
Hold it close, is all, yes.
Okay, this is just a 2019 property tax digest and millage rate discussion, for discussion purposes only, before we actually do the advertisement and the setting of the mill rate. We need to know what direction we need to advertise for.
just hold it closer. Yeah.
The worksheet that you see on the screen is broken down into 3 different columns per se. The first one is the rollback only. That's what is presented as far as part of the tax digest, the mill, the property taxes. That is the recommendation, or with the rollback. Not the recommendation, but that's the rollback that has been provided by the tax assessors and the tax commissioners department. Just to give you like a little summary of what's going on this slide, the 2018 tax collections projection, which was from last calendar year, was equals to $18,051,980. The reevaluation for 2019, the revals, equates to $55,828. If you look on down in the red, that is .040 mills for your tax reevaluation. The digest growth, which is, as you can see, is a lot higher than the revals, is $728,119. That's the amount of monies that we would bring in. That's not the tax value or the digest value or the 40% value. That's the money that equates to dollar that we would receive. So therefore, the preliminary 2019 gross tax projection is $18,835,927 that would be due to the county. If you roll back, you of course roll back the $55,828 on the rollback column. You would therefore receive $18,780. Never mind. Sorry. If you look on further down, that is what you would receive with the rollback, the $18,780,000. So your net increase, tax increase, which is due all to growth, is $728,119, which equates back to the digest growth. So that is your increase that you would receive this calendar year for the 2019 digest, which is approximately 4.03% increase. That's the growth part of it. The next column, if we decrease further and have a total decrease of 0.25 mills, I'm not going to go on the first section because if you look across, the first section is the same. So if you go down to what that decrease would equate to dollar-wise, that would equate to $284,368 on the 0.210 mills. The 0.25 mills, you would add them back in the reevaluation of 55 to get a little over $300,000 of a tax decrease. That would then equate to your property tax projection at $18,495,731. Therefore, if you went with the 0.25 mil decrease, your tax increase to the county would be $443,751. Your net increase would equate to about 2.46%. The last column is if you looked at a $0.5 mil decrease. If you go down the middle of the page, that decrease equates to $622,902, which would then lower your tax projection to $18,157,197. Then your net tax increase under that scenario is $105,217, or 0.58% of an increase. And we're going to take one of these at a time. This is the rollback rate only. If we do the rollback rate, we can do these things that I've got on the left column, continue to do in some cases. We're undergoing currently the pay and classification plan. They have already been meeting with a lot of the employees and the department heads, so Carl Benson is underway with that program. That can be fully funded if you stay at just the rollback. Capital vehicles and equipment replacement program can start. We're looking at that now currently to be rolled into this budget year. Hospital funding would stay the same at $900,000. That's what we budgeted in 2019. Development Authority funding could stay at the $200,000, which is the current level at now in the 2019 budget. Road repair and maintenance could continue somewhat with these monies, and that's taken into consideration if the T-Splosh fails. Discretionary funds would stay the same at $125,000. You would continue to have some contingency in place in your budget. There is already, for 2020, some unbudgeted items that we've got to take into consideration that are not funded as of to date. The landfill permit, $85,000, that's what that amounts to. The judicial circuit increase, $88,600, that's an increase from last calendar year. And then, of course, the Carl Vinson is $500,000 for the funding of the pay and classification plan. Now, if we decrease it by 0.25 mils, these are some of the things that you can continue to do or maybe not do on the left-hand side of the column. The pay and classification plan could partially fund it. You would then have some limited capital replacement plan, so limited funding on capital replacement. We'd have to reduce it. You could still continue to fund the hospital at $900,000. Development Authority, probably no funding would be allocated to the Development Authority. If the T-Splosh fails, then of course that's going to reduce your road repair and maintenance. The discretionary funds would more likely need to be reduced, and also the contingency would need to be decreased as well.
You didn't have an amount on the contingency before, I mean, you based it on what we had in the past.
We had $600,000 budgeted in 2019, yes.
And you're
And-
just assuming that number forward. So when you, so go back, if you go back to the last slide, you have contingency, you just didn't have an amount on it. So
Right, yeah, the contingency is
assuming-
$600,000, we're assuming $600,000.
600.
Now, with that being said, we have already currently, in this budget year, already had to allocate out half of the $600,000 to unforeseen issues or projects.
7/12 of the month of the year in.
Right.
Okay.
And those are the things that has been brought forward to y'all already that y'all approved to come out of contingency. So you can see it's needed because there's always something that's gonna come up during the calendar year.
Go back to that call, this 500,000 thing, I didn't quite catch on to.
That's the Carl Vinson it's the pay and class plan, the number one.
Being clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little interested. I had no idea that it was something like that was going to cost $500,000.
Well,
No, you're saying-
that's the salary increase, not the
Oh,
salary.
I thought you were saying that was for the study.
No, that's not for the study.
Tad expensive for the study. You're just saying that's the
That
amount of
is
the estimated.
yes,
pay
that's the
plan.
estimated, if we put that plan in place, that's the estimated
study.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not the cost. I think the cost for the study was $20,000, is that correct? It was
There you
$20,000.
go, okay.
But where did this projection come from? Is that new?
It's just an estimate at this point. They're working on it. That would be equate to about 5% increase of our pay right now, currently, of our salary right now.
This year.
That's just an estimate. We haven't got any figures back from them at all. They're in the middle of it. They're probably they're probably halfway through their program right now on the study. If you decrease the mill rate by half a mil, the pay and classification plan, there would probably be no funding available for that. The capital replacement program, we would step backwards, because there would be no funding for it either. If the T-Splosh failed, then there would be still, limited road repair and maintenance. No funding for the Development Authority. Hospital funding would need to be decreased. No discretionary funds, and minimum on the contingency.
And that's just due to annual expected growth of the budget.
Well, yes, and if you go back, this only leaves us with $105,000 extra dollars. If you go back to the first slide, you add up two of the unbudgeted items, that's already over $105,000 that we already need for this year's budget coming up that we don't have, that's not in the budget. So those two right there items is more than 105,000. And that's just two items. Advertisement and date to set millage rate. Since we're not gonna have a tax increase, you only need one advertisement. You have to advertise the current year digest and 5-year history of levy. It has to include the place of the meeting, date and time that the mill rate will be set. Must be advertised 7 days prior to the meeting date. Advertisement date, the first advertisement date is Wednesday, August the 14th, because tomorrow's gonna be too late for me to get it in the paper. So Wednesday, August the 14th will be the first advertisement day that I can get it in. Therefore, the meeting date to set the millage rate would be Thursday, August the 22nd, because it has to be 7 days, really 8 days. You can't have the meeting until the 8th day after the advertisement. So a recommendation on that is to move the regular Tuesday, August the 20th meeting to Thursday, August the 22nd.
When is the final vote on the referendum for the T-Splosh? When does that happen? Is that November?
November.
We won't know about it going in, that's one of the disappointing things.
Will we know the Carl Vincent study by the time we get this vote?
Any,
Yeah, not until November.
Tonight, all we have to do is, all we're gonna do tonight is vote to put the ad in the.
Yes. The state,
Date.
the state's requirement of deadline is September the 1st, or September the, I think it's the first Monday, Labor Day or whatever, it's September the 1st if you look at the guidelines, but it's gonna be like the first Monday or something after the holiday probably.
Well, September 1st is a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Sunday, I think so,
The second is
too.
Labor Day, and
Yeah.
then the third will be a Tuesday,
Yeah.
so.
So it's gonna be like the first Monday that follows that. Staff's recommendation, roll back millage rate only to continue maintain current level of service and implementation of plans, projects, and programs.
Okay. So all we're doing tonight is voting to add,
Yes, we cannot vote on anything tonight.
we've got time, we got a couple of work sessions we can have on.
They set the millage rate.
No, they don't, no, they cannot set the millage
What
rate
do you
tonight.
advertise?
You have to advertise first.
What do you advertise?
That's what they gotta tell me, which one to advertise, but you can't,
You have to tell us which of these.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
So,
no, you need to tell us which one you want me to advertise. Now, with that being said,
That's right.
you can advertise high and always lower. You can't advertise low.
I would
And
go
raise
with the recommendation on the one you got on the last page.
on the advertisement, yeah,
Yes.
for the advertisement, sure.
the one that was, wait a minute, give me the first one, the first one.
Look at the very last page.
The one that,
The rollback only.
Hey, Lord, hold on just a
yes,
second.
correct, roll back.
Ben's got a point to make.
I just want to make sure y'all are clear in what Ms. Robinson said. Whatever's advertised in the paper is as high as y'all can run. You can go lower than that. Whatever y'all choose to put in the paper today is as high as y'all can go.
I say do that, and we get the T-Splosh passed, let's do a President Bush and mail everybody a check back.
Yeah.
The following year, once, if T-Splosh passes, you know, refund a portion of this back to the taxpayers.
That's legal, all right?
Can you not do that?
You could lower the millage rate,
Hey, everybody else is raising taxes, let's send some money back, they don't know that works.
Alan, what's the pleasure of the board? You make a motion to go with the staff's recommendation to roll back millage rate on .040 would be the rollback. Come down from, what, I'm sorry, what was it, 12 point,
I'm sorry,
hold on,
13.
13.291, sorry.
But after our work sessions,
We can come.
we can come and yeah, lower the.
Yes,
Yes.
lower it anytime we want.
Right, so we're just preliminarily, I mean, we're putting something here so you can advertise. And if we do rollback millage rate only, then we get through our work session, we can do better than that.
Yes.
I hope that we can, and, okay.
Okay, that's for 13,291.
Got a motion from Commissioner Evans to go to 13.291 on the millage rate and advertise as such. Have a second from Commissioner Monty. Any discussion?
I just want to give kudos to staff for putting it into perspective and what you get, what you don't get for the general public. Thank you for doing that. Very, very nice to have.
And it's difficult to set a, it's just not business. It's not my business world to set a rate and then back into your budget.
It's,
Anyway,
we've definitely got to talk about changing that process. Right now, it's not time to do it.
right.
Got a motion and a second to set the millage rate as 13.291.
And that's actually,
It's a lowering of the millage rate.
And we, the tax digest and our sales ratio will be around 38.5.
Yeah, oh yeah, Bobby's doing a great job on that.
I went,
All right, I'll call the question. All in favor? All right, that passes. Next item on the agenda is the Board of Assessors, tax assessor, board appointment.
make a motion to go with the Board of Tax Commissioners' recommendation.
Oh, I'm sorry, the building code amendment. That's right, we discussed this in the work session as an example, and so back up to D, it says building code
Skip right over.
amendment. Well, so we did discuss this earlier, but George, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. So, during our last evening meeting, when I was left, when we had the remainder of the internet meeting outside, y'all adjourned to come up here. One of the recommendations I thought was, from actually someone in the crowd, I thought was a really good idea, and I wanted to bring that before you for consideration. And the bottom line was for new developments only, and I would say those that are higher than the normal administrative, like lot divisions, but for anything that would constitute a major subdivision, which I wish we had Kelsey. I think it's,
Kelsey is in here now.
is it 4 lots or more, or what?
I'm sorry.
For a
I
major
missed-
subdivision, how many lots is that, the minimum?
I have the authority to approve 5 or less if they're 3 acres or 3 or less. After that, they come to y'all.
So the idea would be for anything over those standards, that we would require either a conduit, that the developer either run a conduit to each unit, which would enable an internet company's service provider to